Hey, what's up, guys? This is Audie from Saustri Nation, and today we're going to be talking about plant transport. Alright, so now that you're back from the intro, let's go ahead and write this down. So, plant transport. Okay. So, plant transport. Alright, so what is plant transport? Like, what is this, So what am I talking about here? Okay, so basically plant transport is, it's basically like this overlaying, topic about every way plants will actually be able to transport stuff. So for example, they'll transport like nutrients and sugar and definitely water, and things like that. So we'll have to, so we're going to go ahead and talk about how they actually do this and how it actually works and things like that. Alright, so I guess we can go ahead and get started. So we have a couple of theories that we should talk about first. So let's go ahead and write down theories. Okay. I guess the first theory that we can go ahead and discuss about is the root, I should make that bigger. Okay, root pressure. That's a lot better. Theory. I know I don't really have to mention the theory, but hey, oh well, that's what it's called, so I guess you guys you're better off knowing that that's what it's called. So basically what this one does is, so I guess it's probably easier for me to explain if I just draw it out. Okay, so let's just say this is a root, alright? Go ahead, say it's a root, okay? Now I'm not going to go into parts of the root and stuff like that, because that's a totally different thing. Okay, so root. Right, okay, and then, so this will just be like the part of the root, and this is going to be like the xylem cells. Oh, and by the way, whenever I talk about water is going to be moving through the xylem, so, xylem. Sugar is going to be moving through the, so this is for H2O. And then, phloem cells are going to be for sugar. They're probably gonna ask you, xylem cells are actually dead. They're dead cells, so they're gonna, the plant's gonna try to use like, it's gonna try to kill off, the cells, apoptosis. I believe that's what it's called, yeah. Like, killing cells on purpose. Basically it's gonna try to kill it off, so that it can actually use it for the xylem or something like that, whenever it needs to. Okay, but before we get out of hand, let's go ahead and say, water is going to be in yellow. Okay, yeah, I know yellow is kind of weird for water. I should have used blue, but oh well, you get the point. Okay, so basically, how this is going to work is, if you remember, like, osmotic potential and stuff like that we learned in that one video, the water potential video or whatever, diffusion and, stuff like that, the diffusion video. Yeah, basically, we're gonna have to use a lot of that in this, so I would go ahead and watch that video again. But if you've been watching all the videos, you should be okay. Alright, so basically what happens is, okay, so you'll have like a large, very high concentration of water here. So, high concentration of water right here. Okay, and so you'll have like a really low concentration, or relatively low concentration of H2O right here. Okay, so basically, obviously, what's going to happen is that this is going to be like a membrane that water is permeable to, and so like the water will actually go through here, and it'll dump itself into the cell, into the cells, and into the root. Okay. So basically, what's going to happen is like, okay, so all of this water is going to build up here, and the theory states that, okay, if all of this water is going to build up here, the water has to go somewhere, right? So it's going to start to go up, right? So it's going to start going up just like that. Alright, so that's what the theory is. Basically, it's going to start going up like that, and it's going to start to, go up the plant, basically. And it's going to keep going up, and water's going to keep coming in. Now, okay, with each of these things, I guess we should go ahead and mention that with each of these, we're gonna state the theory, and then we're gonna state the problem, and then finally we're gonna have one theory that fits all of it, you know, like every single problem that we've had with it. Okay. So basically, here's the issue with this. All right. The problem is with this. So let's go ahead and write problem. So the problem with this one is the fact that, you know, if we were to cut off the plant, so if we cut off like the top of the plant, basically, you know, we chopped off the top of the plant, or we chopped off like a tree, and we let the trunk stay, and you know, the bottom half of the tree stay there, we would have to see the tree basically, water would have to keep coming out of the ground, right? Because if you think about it, that's what would happen. Because you know, water keeps coming in, it keeps going up, and it keeps coming out, right? Well, obviously that doesn't happen. I don't know if you've ever cut a plant or something like that, but that doesn't happen very often. So that's the problem with this. So it's just that, you know, when you cut a plant, H2O stops flowing. Okay. So basically that's the issue with that one. Now we're gonna, you know, you might be like, hey, why are we learning this if this one isn't, you know, even the real one? Well, you'll see in a little bit why we're actually learning it. Okay. So then the other one is the capillary action. Capillary action theory. Okay. I don't know. I'm not totally sure if it's a theory, but oh well. Basically, I don't really have to show anything for this, but basically, if you know a little bit about water and stuff like that, you would know that, you know, water cells use like hydrogen bonds to actually, not hydrogen bonds. What is it? It's not dipole. No, it's hydrogen bonds, I believe. Or whatever. It uses like a temporary, not a temporary, but it's a little less strong. Okay, I'll just write it out, I guess. Okay. So you have a O, you have two H's, like that. Okay, that would be a water molecule. Okay, and then so you have like, let's say we have another water molecule, so like this and like this. All right. So basically, what happens is that the O, since it's more electronegative than the H's, the electrons are going to start to spend more time in the O part of the molecule, so where the oxygen is. And so that side of the molecule will actually end up being negative. More negative. So it's going to end up being partially negative. So it's going to end up being partially negative on that side. And this side will be partially positive. Okay, and so basically what's going to happen is you're going to have like a temporary bond between these two molecules by doing that. And, you know, that's what happens with water, and that's why, you know, if you drop like one drop on a penny, you know, it doesn't overflow. You know, it doesn't just overflow. It'll make like a little bowl, like a little, I guess like a half bubble, you know, a part of a bubble basically, and it'll stay there until you put more of water, obviously, and then it'll overflow. Basically, that's what's happening, really. Now, the other quality of water is that it has adhesion, which means it'll adhere to other things. So, for example, you know, that's why when you're reading I don't know if you know, probably in chemistry and a little bit of biology, you're probably going to read a lot of, I guess, like graduated cylinders with water markings and things like that. And so that's why, you know, your science teacher probably always tells you to look at the meniscus, which is the bottom of that loop. Okay, and so you might be asking, hey, why does that happen? You know, why does that, you know, happen, and why does the water loop like that? When we make like a little U. And that's because of adhesion. So cohesion is when, you know, it attaches like this to itself, so it's going to attach to itself. And then adhesion is when it attaches to other things. So meaning like with itself, and then adhesion with other things. So that's how I remember those. Alright. So basically what this is like capillary action. And so basically what it is that the theory, it's not really a theory, it's an actual thing that happens. If you put a plate of water or like a box of water and you put little tubes in it. So if you put like graduated cylinders in it, okay, what's going to actually end up happening is that over time, the water will actually start to seep up through the, graduated cylinder. So I guess we should draw a thing here. Okay, I think that would be a lot easier to visualize. Okay, so let's say we have this box, or this poorly representation of a box. Okay, and then we had water in it. So we had this much water in it. Okay, so we just had a bunch of water. Okay, and then so we had this little, this tube. Okay, so like this, we had a tube. Okay, and we don't have any water in it. Okay, so I guess we can go ahead and erase this part. Oh, kind of messed that up. Okay. Oh, not good. Okay, there it is. Yeah, I think that's better. Okay, good. So we have this thing in here. Okay. And this isn't going to the edge, to the bottom of the thing, but you get the point. All right. So basically, what's going to happen is that the water is going to actually go through here. Okay. And so how this is going to happen is that it's through adhesion and cohesion. So basically, what will happen is a bunch of water molecules will go and attach to the cylinder itself. Okay. And then the water molecules that are attached to those water molecules that are attached to the cylinder will attach to them, and then it'll keep going up. Now, it'll only go up to some extent, and then it'll stop. So basically, what this theory is stating is that, the water will start out in the bottom of the thing, and it'll slowly start to seep up the whole plant. Okay? It'll slowly start to go up the whole plant. And basically that's about it. And so the thing is with capillary action is the fact that, the thinner the tube is, the higher the water will go, because there is more place for the water to actually adhere to the sides of the tube, I guess. All right, so here is the problem with this one. Okay, so problem. Okay, so if you didn't understand that, it basically goes through the plant by using adhesion and cohesion. So it'll go adhere to the next level, and the water level will rise up. Adhere to the next level will come up. Adhere to the next level will come up. Basically, that's what's going to happen with adhesion, the capillary action theory, I guess. Okay, so the next one, so the problem, I guess, with this is that it can't climb very far. Okay, so it can't climb very far. Yeah, so it can't climb very far. That's the issue with this one. The fact that it just can't climb, or you can't really go that far. I mean, I guess the xylem would have to be infinitely small to have all that water go through wherever it's necessary. So it's just not practical to think about it this way. Or at least not only in this way, right? Okay, so the current theory, and notice how I said theory. It's still, we're still learning all of this stuff, and science is that type of a subject. It's all tentative, and by tentative, I mean it can change at any moment. One thing that we know now could be something completely wrong, in the next year or day, and it's just, that's how science works, really. Okay, so transpiration pool theory. Okay, so transpiration pool theory. Okay, so I guess I can go ahead and draw like a plant here. Okay, so it's gonna be really bad, I'm sorry. But okay, hey, good. Okay, it's not bad. Okay, whatever. Alright, so we have this plant, right? Okay, and so we have water in the ground right here. Let's just say this is a water reserve thing. Okay, so water is what's gonna actually happen is that we're gonna use like a combination of the root pressure theory. Okay, we're gonna use a combination of the root pressure theory, the capillary action, and also we're gonna add something new to it called transpiration. Okay, so basically what transpiration is that Transpiration is going to be the thing that's going to allow water to evaporate basically into the atmosphere. I mean, you won't be able to see it, but you know it's happening. And so basically, it's going to allow, and you're going to see how this is going to play through all of it. Goes together. Okay, so basically, if you refer back to the root pressure, basically the water's going to come in. Okay, water's going to come in. All right, through root pressure. The root pressure is gonna push it up, okay? And then after that point, it's gonna use capillary action, okay, to move up a little bit, all right? And then at the end, sorry, at the end, the water that's already at the end of the cycle will actually evaporate away. And so what that evaporated water is going to do before it leaves is it's going to bring in the other water too. So it's going to pull the other water with it, and it's going to leave. So that's going to happen over and over and over again. So I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say here, but basically water's going to come in like this. Okay, it's going to go through. So I guess we can label the parts. Okay, and then it's going to go through here like that. Okay. I guess we can label the parts. All right, so let me just use yellow. Okay, so root pressure. Okay, and then capillary action. Okay, and then here transpiration. Okay, and so basically, this is really going to be the thing that pulls it out of the way. Okay, so it's going to pull it outside of the plant, and all the water is going to seep through, okay? And basically this is going to, this is going to do its job to make this, this thing happen. Because this can, capillary action can only do so much, right? Capillary action can only do so much, right? And so it won't be able to go all the way throughout the plant. Now, root pressure can also only do so much. And the real problem with root pressure is the fact that, it doesn't stop when it's, doing that. And so basically what's going to happen is that once, basically if we cut off this part of the plant, if we cut that off, we're not going to have any transpiration. So we're not going to have any pull to actually pull the water up. Okay. And so that's why we don't see water seeping through, plants when we cut off the top of them. Basically, that's what that is. Alright, and so basically, I know I'm saying basically a lot, I don't know why. But anyways, all of this is going to be controlled by the stomata. So let me go ahead and write the stomata. Stomata. Alright, so all of this is going to be controlled by the stomata, okay? And the stomata is like this green thing. It's really small, and it's on every single part of the plant, basically. It's on it's on all of the leaves and stuff like that all the time, okay? And so the stomata is basically going to be this thing, okay? It's going to look like this. It's going to be like two little doors, and it's going to basically open up. Now, contrary to what you think will happen, when it's flaccid, so it doesn't have water in it, okay, it's gonna actually be, it's gonna actually close the gap. When it's turgid or rigid, when it's rigid, it's gonna actually open the gap. So it's gonna be like this. Oh. No, actually, I'm right. I just have to think about it a little bit. Okay, yeah, it's been a while since I've done this stuff. Okay, but anyways, yeah, I'm right. So it is flaccid when it's closed. So basically it's going to close up, okay, and it's going to be flat, okay, and then when it's rigid, it's actually going to be open, all right. Yeah, when it's rigid, it's going to actually curl up into this banana shape, and it's going to open it, all right. I am right, okay. I was like, what? How could I forget it? Sorry about that little pause there, but I'll try to edit it out if I can remember, but I don't know. But anyways, yeah, that's basically it for that, okay. And so basically what's going to be controlling all of this and all of the transpiration pull theory is this chemical or molecule, I guess, whatever you call it, this signal, or this, whatever you call it, called abscisic acid. So abscisic acid. Okay, so basically what abscisic acid is that it's gonna, basically what it's gonna do is it's gonna go into the stomata, okay, and then it's gonna, too much of this abscisic acid, it's gonna actually close the stomata, so it's gonna make it flaccid. So what's gonna happen is that it's gonna rush into the cells, it's gonna rush into the cells, and it's gonna pump out all the water, okay? So it's gonna make it so that the water gets out of the cell, and so it's gonna be flaccid, right? And so basically that's what's gonna happen. Okay, so I just had to take a little break there. But anyways, yeah, that's what's gonna happen with that, and that's about it, basically, for transpiration pull theory. Now, I'm not, I don't know, I'm totally not too sure about this. I'll figure it out, and I'll probably edit it back in, when I do so. Yeah, I know, it's always been confusing for me, which one it is. Anyways, I don't know. I mean, you don't really have to know that for, you do need to know it for the, school test, but not for the AP test, really. You don't really need to know that. I mean, they may ask you, but you can probably figure it out, honestly. Okay, basically now let's talk about, how sugar is transported. So sugar, transport. Okay. Alright. Whew. Okay. So, basically, we're gonna have, a xylem here. Okay, so that's the xylem, and this is gonna be the phloem. Okay, so phloem is gonna be what's gonna actually transport this sugar down. So, basically, all of the photosynthesis is really gonna be happening mainly in the summer or the springtime-ish. Okay, because that's when all the sun is out and all the oxygen and all that thing, whatever plants need. So basically, like CO2, all that stuff is gonna be out there in the open during the summertime. Sorry. Okay. During the summertime. Alright, and so basically what's gonna happen is that, you're gonna have water, I guess, this water is gonna go through, okay? It's gonna, through osmosis, it's gonna diffuse across this membrane, push down the sugar, okay, and then come back, alright? And so it's gonna keep doing that until all the sugar is gone. Okay, and then the sugar is going to actually go towards the root, and it's going to be stored in the root until it's needed in the winter or something like that, when it's actually needed. So basically, any excess sugar or anything that the plant doesn't need is going to go down into the root, or it's going to be used for structures and things like that, or whatever it really needs to be used for. Basically, that's how that works. I mean, it's not too complicated. Actually, it's very complicated. But, this is basic overview of it. I don't want to get into that. That would take forever to actually explain all of that stuff. Alright, anyways, that's about it, I guess. Yeah, okay, so, little problem here with this, but I'll try to fix it, and I'll get back to you guys once I do fix it. I'll probably have it in the description or something like that. I have to make a note for myself so I actually remember that, because I'll be editing this on Monday and releasing it on Monday. But anyways, if you find any mistakes other than those two things in any of my videos, please let me know in the comments below, because I do make some mistakes. I am still a high school student, and I just want to help some people out by teaching them biology. But, I still do make some mistakes. I'm not perfect. And I totally accept that, that I do make mistakes. And if you guys could help me out, maybe, I mean, people won't learn the wrong thing and get things wrong on tests and stuff, which would kind of suck, which would not be good, I guess, yeah. Alright, so basically all you need to know is all of this stuff. It's very, like, bare minimum stuff that you need to know for this stuff. Alright, something just rattled somewhere, so I don't know what that is. But anyways, yeah, this is basically all you need to know. Not too much information. Again, don't, take whatever I said about the stomata with a grain of salt, because I don't know if I'm totally right about that. I think I am, but I'm not totally sure either. It makes sense that it would be rigid while it's, no, actually, I think I am right. I don't know. I'm not sure, though. Whatever. You'll probably be able to search it up online. And I'll have it down there in the description or something like that, so, you guys won't, be studying the wrong thing. I'll try to cover up my mistakes. But anyways, yeah, that's about it. So I guess I will see you guys in the next one.